All right, go ahead.
Hi, guys. Okay, so we missed you guys. We had a break for Thanksgiving. We hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving and enjoyed time with your family and friends, your loved ones. So we're going to get right back into the swing of things. And we have this one call, and then we have another break. We have a big break. So we kind of want to cram a few things in right now and get down to some things that are really important. So this week we're talking about Take Them With You, and what this is.
Wait, Colleen, before you get into all that, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to tell you guys, like, you know, we want you guys to interact. Like, this is your chance here on these calls right here that we have. We specifically decided with this program to do like Zoom calls because we wanted to give you guys the opportunity, you know, to interact with us and talk with us about whatever the topic is, obviously, that we're talking about each week. If you have any questions or things like that, we don't want it to ever feel like we're just sitting here talking at you guys and you're just here to listen. You know, we want it to be a place where you can feel comfortable talking to us, whatever struggles or you know, things that you're doing well with and you want to celebrate. Like, we want to be a part of all of that with you guys here, and that's what this opportunity on the Zoom call is for. So please, if at any point, you know, on this call and going forward, if there's something that you want to say, there's an option here. You can even raise your hand if everyone's muted, or you can whatever, I don't care. You know, and obviously we have like a Q&A session at the end, but please take advantage of that because we really want to know what you guys are getting out of this. And, you know, we want to be able to help you in the best way that we could, and having us all here live together is going to be, you know, really beneficial for that. So
yeah, and you guys, like you, I was saying on my long-winded video on the page that, like, you guys are our next generation of leaders. Like, you guys are the next generation of leaders. I mean, we are, of course, still too, but you guys are the up-and-coming leaders. Like, you are it, and we want to know, like, where we can help you, what you feel like is working for you, like what you are implementing. And, you know, while we're doing these calls, like, take notes. We don't want this to be just like one of those things where you just get on the call because you feel like you have to, because I have done things like that, like getting on calls because I feel like I have to, because I feel like I'm not, you know, like I want to do the right thing by my leader, or not even in Scentsy in particular, but I just want to do right by somebody else and not by myself, right? Because it's not something that I really want to do. And if it's not something that you want to do, then you're not going to get anything out of it. If you're not like truly invested into what we're saying and doing, and not really interested in really like taking it to the next level, because we don't want you to just get off the call and forget everything that we said. And a lot of this stuff, Patty and I were talking about this earlier, a lot of this stuff seems so repetitive and it all intertwines. Like, literally, what I'm about to say is literally going to reference something that we spoke about in the first week, because it all goes together. And all of this stuff is so simple, you guys. It's it's the complete polar opposite of reinventing the wheel. It's simplicity. It's doing the things that you know that work and repeating them over and over and over. And what we're doing here with this program is drilling down to the nitty gritty of like what we feel is super important, that we've found as leaders where we are through our journey, which has been super short and fast, but things that we have found along the way, things that we know work through, you know, other people's words and experiences and through our own. And this is really stuff that like we're drilling into that we know are going to help you, like, for a fact. This isn't like, I think this could probably work for you. Like, this stuff is going to work for you. It will work for anybody, because everybody goes by this stuff. Everybody that's really succeeding in this company is going by these things, but we're just really like getting into it, getting into every little aspect and piece of it. So I don't want you guys to ever feel like you're coming on this call just because you don't want one of us to look at you like, you know, you're not trying to be a good leader because you're not on this call. Because believe me, guys, there were people that politely declined being in this training. And I don't think anything less of them. Like, that's totally okay. You know what I mean? Like, I know that they still want to be a leader. I know that they're still going to work at it. It's just that they couldn't commit to it right now. And that's totally fine. But I want you guys to get out of this, because like, I look at you guys and I see so much growth and potential, and like, like Pat just hit director and it happened quick. You know how many people Pat has on our team? 10. So she is like, oh my gosh, she said to me, I'm so glad that I'm in this program. Like, I cannot believe like this just happened. Now what do I do? And I'm like, we're going to be covering all of these things, right? So I want you guys to really invest into this and get off the call and be like, oh yeah, anyways, and go on to the next thing. Like, think about what we're saying and like implement it, because it really will work. Like, it really will. I promise you guys. Okay. So this week we're talking about take them with you. And this pretty much is about sharing your vision, sharing what your goals are for this company, building belief in your team and your leaders, and really, really committing to the belief, building them up, and showing them that they can do this too, right? Like, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is finding and sharing your vision, right? So when you join, you have to have some kind of vision in mind of what you want out of this business, right? Some of us may have joined and started off as a hobbyist, but now look where we are. You guys are all in like top-notch leadership roles right now, like ready to like take it to the next level, right? At any second, all of you. So you now may have a different vision than when you initially started off with, but now you know, I'm sure all of you have some kind of vision where you know that you're going to be a director or working towards that, right? I'm assuming, does every one of you, are you guys working toward director? Is that like what your goal is? So you guys have that vision, right? So with your team, like, does your team know that you guys have that vision? Does your team know like that's where you're going, that you're working toward a goal? Because if you join this business, and I mean, it's one thing if you're a hobbyist and you guys know that, but if you really want something out of this, you've got to, even when somebody joins your team, you've got to sit with them and find out what their goals are, so you know where to work with them, right? Because you can't push a $10,000 a month dream on somebody that doesn't want it, right? So you've got to figure out what their goal is. Just like you guys, you've got to have a goal. If you just sign up and you're just moving without purpose or intention, you're going to have mediocre results. But if you have a goal in mind, like, okay, I got to do this. And you guys know we have 1 month every month to do what we got to do, right? And make moves. So you've got to be conscious of your goals and how to get there. Like, what is your title now? What are you working at? You've got to be always conscious of these things, right? What do you have to do to get that? What does your GWV have to be? Like, if you are working toward director, you know that you need 10,000 GWV. You guys know that, right? You guys know what your PRV has to be. You guys know how many after frontline. If you didn't have any goal in mind, none of that would even matter. So you would just kind of be aimlessly moving. Like, you guys have a little bit of an extra fire lit under you, because you know, even as an SSE, if I don't get my 500 PRV in, I'm not getting paid at title. If I don't get my, what is it 6,000 for SSE? Am I right, guys? 6,000 for SSE, GWV? Like, then you're not going to get paid at title, right? So you do have goals. You have goals. So sharing your goals with your team, they need to know that as well, okay? They need to know that you have goals and you're working towards them, because moving without goals, it's empty. It's empty movement, right? There's nothing behind it. And it really does make a big difference. And for a while, I didn't really, because I didn't even know what I was moving towards. I was just moving like a crazy animal with like no organization, just like chaos. I was just going crazy. But I really had to kind of hone in and figure out, what was I working towards? Where was I going with it, right? Then you can kind of organize yourself and figure out what your next move is. You've got to be strategic. And that goes to knowing what your vision is and what you're getting after, right? So finding your vision and sharing it with your team is massive. It's really big that you share it with your team. And I know that we're going to touch base. Patty and I wanted to bring this up with you guys. Now, how many of you guys don't have a team page? I'm like, who's that? Billy, did you raise your hand or no? Billy, did you have a team page?
Yes.
You do have a team page?
I do.
Okay. Okay, so Sandy, are you the only one?
Maybe.
All right. So
this has been heavy on my mind and was going to ask you
yes.
how to go about that and
Yes.
what I need to do.
So at this point in the game,
whatever.
Yep. So at this point in the game, I feel like every single one of you should have a team page, because where you're going, you need to be able to communicate with your team and establish your own leadership style. Okay. I mean, it's totally fine to be going off of like your director now or your SSD, but you really want your team to look at you as their leader, right? And then establish your leadership style, and then have them look at you as their leader, and then you can grow from there. And where you are, you're working toward being a director, you should be doing that. And I feel like it's only going to benefit you. I really, honest to God, Sandy, do not feel like there's no negative backlash from that at all. I feel like you're really going to do yourself a good favor by that.
Well, and maybe I've taken kind of the wrong approach, or I had kind of put a number to it. I had decided that when my team got to 15, then I was going to do that. And so I guess maybe that probably wasn't the right way to go about it.
You know what? Don't wait for any more people, because we tell our teams 3 to 5 people. I'm like, go ahead and make a team.
And you know what, Sandy? Just because, like, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, if you feel like you want to create a team page for your team, and maybe you were just waiting for a certain amount of people, that's up to you, because it's your business, your organization, and that's completely fine. So don't feel like it's wrong or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I think no matter what, in order to still instill that leadership, like, it needs to happen. I think
I'm starting to feel like it's time.
Yeah. I think for me, like, I created a team page when I had 3 people, and when I was a lead consultant. I had 3 people on my team. And I honestly, like, I feel like it's never too early to instill those leadership skills or to act like a director. You know what I mean? Like, a title's not going to define you, but if you start, like, whether it's Facebook or you're organizing trainings or team meetings or emails or whatever it is to your team, where you're taking ownership as the leader. And, you know, I think coming into this business, like, I always had my upline. I had Kristen, I had Jen, and they were amazing, but I never kind of like relied on them to, and I'm not saying you or anybody here does that. I'm just saying in general, like, I never relied on them to kind of train them and do things. Like, I took the reins coming into this. Like I said, I was a lead consultant, and I acted like a director. Like, I thought who I was. Like, I laugh about it now, but I think it probably was the best thing for my team and my business, because my team started immediately instilling that leadership. And when you make that transition to director, it's going to be a harder transition if they don't already view you in that way, you know, because I mean, most of, like, I have one frontline director, Nicole Hubbard, and now she has her own team, but most of her team, I mean, we still have some of her team on my group page, but for the most part, they're all on her team now, like her group page. And so they're kind of looking to her. But for a while, everybody was all in my group. And so at that point, when she hit director, it was like a tough transition. Not that it was like anything was bad, but I personally noticed like a transition from people moving from my group to hers. So I think it's important to instill that early, you know, as early as you can. And if you didn't by now and you have a team of going on 15, hey, that's great. You know, all the more power to you. You're probably going to have more engagement on your team with a team of 15 people or a group of 15 people versus a group of like 3 people creating a team page for, you know? So
not particularly. I mean, I have 10 on my team, but I've been struggling. I haven't been able to get paid at title forever. And
well, that's what this program is here for. And even if you're not getting paid at title or whatever that is, like, that doesn't mean that you still can't, you know, like, kind of guide your team. Because the thing is, I think it's important to be transparent with our teams, but our teams do not need to know the ins and outs of our business either. You know what I mean? Just like our customers don't need to know the whole back end story. My team doesn't need to know that I'm sitting here struggling and my office is in shambles and I want to pull my hair out because I got to get on a call on a Sunday night when I don't feel like doing it, you know, but I come on and I put a good face on. And so they don't need to, you know, it's not that there's a fine line between being transparent and then just like, you know, things like that. But Yeah, I mean, that's what this program is here for. It's here to help you, kind of move on forward in your business and help you with things like that if you feel like getting paid a title has been a struggle for you. Um, but no matter what, I think it's important to have that unity because you want them. This is where we're going with all of this. So like when Colleen talks about like knowing your vision and sharing your vision with your team, having your team, like taking them with you, like they say that leaders are inspired when they're inspired. Okay. So people on your team, they're not going to be able to be pulled by inspiration on anything. They're not going to be able to be like, oh, wow, this is working for her. I want to try that. If they're not getting that from you. I mean, yes, they have, your uplines team page, director, SSD, whatever, their team page. But like, I can't even tell you guys. I mean, my group, we're only like 134. Like we have so much growing to do. We're literally babies in this company. But in the past 2 years that I've joined Scentsy, I literally watch teams dwindle away when the leader is not present. And that's the cold, honest truth. Like it all starts from the top. And so whether it's a team page or whether you're posting on your director's page, I think it's important to have that team page anyway, even though that you shouldn't just rely on Facebook as a way to connect with your team, but it's a place for them to for you to create that unity, for you to go on and be like, this is how I put my basket parties together. This is how I do my home parties. How can they pull that inspiration if it's like some people don't even know to go and Google things, So that's why it's important to have that team page to give them ideas and give them tips and show them physically how you're working your business and literally how you're working your business, because I can't even tell you how many times I'll post a picture of a basket party and next thing I know, people are posting pictures of that same basket party that I put together because they pulled that inspiration and they liked it and they applied it to their business. So it's very important to have that in your team page. And a team page, I mean, we could go on and on about the team page, Colleen and myself would be more than happy to talk to you guys about team pages and like what we think is important. And I think we might even touch on this, right, in the next couple of weeks with like creating unity and all that.
Yeah, we must.
But yeah, just like consistency, being consistent. Because in the beginning, especially when your team is smaller, on a Facebook page, you're not going to feel that same participation that you're going to feel on your director's page and all that. Like it's going to take time. But I think the most important thing is being consistent in it and just like not even still on my group page, it'll say seen by 39 people and like one person will comment. And I'm like, I know 39 people saw that, when you get kind of like, what the hell? But I think no matter what, it's just like pushing past that and just being consistent with things like that. But all those things take time, no matter what.
And also they're seeing it. And that's what I always say. And I'm like pretty like faithful in that is that, okay, so if I didn't have a team page, right, I would have to be like texting everybody individually or calling them or emailing them. And I don't know if they're getting it. I don't know any of this stuff, right? But I know that if I'm posting on my team page, I know that they're seeing it. Whether they respond or not, that's a different story. But I know that they're seeing it. And if they still might be getting the message just because they're not responding, right? So also, you want to create that intimacy and that relationship with your team. Like you want to build a relationship, a genuine relationship with your leaders, with your team, because the better relationship you have with them, the better that they're going to do.
Not only that, the more relationships that they start building within themselves on that team page, I mean, I hate just like always talking about the team page because it's so much more than Facebook. And I feel like a lot of our business, we always rely on like Facebook to be the bread, like the source of our business. But it's a place for us to create unity. It's a place for us to create relationships. But there still really has to be so much more connection, one-on-one calls, text, all that stuff to your to your downline. But as far as like the unity there, when they build relationships with each other, it's like so much better because look at Colleen and I. I mean, Colleen and I are not on the same team. Same thing with Ashley. Like we're not on the same team. But me and Ashley actually both got to know each other through Wickless Luster, through Kristen Engel's page, I mean, and Colleen and I, same thing on Wickless Luster. And then we just hit it off in Punta Cana. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like where they're creating those friendships that, people will join Scentsy for the money, but they're going to stay for the connection and a team page. business. And yes, they may be getting that on their uplines page on Wickless Luster or wherever. But that's not where they should be getting. They should be getting it from you, because what's going to happen one day when you're an SSD? Are you going to be relying on your SSD's page, you know, when you have this whole like downline of people? So I think no matter what, it's never too early to put those leadership skills in place. But it's important for them to know your vision in this business, what Colleen was saying about how, like, you know, you have to share how you feel where this company is, will one, has done for you, and two, where you know it will take you. So a lot of times I have gone on my team page live and have talked to them multiple times. Like, for instance, I was on Scentsy's advisory board, and I went to a meeting like 2 August ago, not this past August, but the one before. And I actually had the pleasure of getting to know some of Scentsy's very first consultants, like top leaders. I'm talking number 7 consultant, like people who were just like supreme superstar directors, like ridiculous, most humble people ever. But I got to physically talk to people who were literally like, they're set for life. Let's just say they're set for life, like as far as finances go. Like they're good. They're taking their checks to their grave, pretty much. And so me seeing that, especially as a newer consultant coming into that, it made me be like, wow, oh my God, there's so much potential in this company. I mean, I love Scentsy from the very beginning, but hearing from other people how they're literally probably making 6-7 figures a month, like, it made me be like, okay, I know what I want. I know where I need to go, and I know what I can do someday in this business. And so even though, like, you know, not everybody is getting to talk to consultants like that, but I think it's important for you to share how Scentsy, where the potential is, you know, whether it's taken you there already, or whether you know the potential that it has someday. Maybe your goal with Scentsy one day is to quit your job and you know, just, this is going to supplement your income. You know, if you're not sharing that with your team, they're not going to ever understand that it's possible. So how can you share with them that these things are possible? Now, I'm not making 6-7 figures a month, but I aspire to do that someday. I know for sure it's going to happen someday. It may take me 10 years, 12 years, how these women were when I met them, but it's going to happen. And I don't care, you know? So these are things that I kind of talk to my team about from time to time, so that they know and they understand. One, knowing the potential that Scentsy has, but two, what have they seen so far in you? You know, even though, you know, your short and long-term goals, like, or what have you done with your business so far that they've seen from you? Like for me, when I joined Scentsy, I joined when I was going off maternity leave. I went and it allowed me to work part-time. So I talked to them about that. Scentsy allowed me to work part-time for a full year. Guess what? August 2016, I quit my job, and this is what I do full-time. I've worked my business so far enough, and I've been successful enough where I can actually quit my job, and this is what I do full time. If I don't tell that to my team, and not in like a boasting way, but just let them know that the potential that they have, it's never going to seem possible to them, because direct sales in general is just a bad name in general. It all goes back to same thing with recruiting. When I'm talking to someone about recruiting and they're saying, you know, they see me, you know, quit my job and now this is what I do, it makes them want to join, especially for people who connect to me, right? Because then they're like, oh, hey, I have a baby. I just went on maternity leave. She looks like she quit her job. Hey, I want to try it. I have so many people that contact me all the time saying, hey, I see you quit your job. Or, you know, I just had a baby. Like, can you talk to me more about this? Da, 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 da. Like, it's the same thing with your team. How are you sharing that vision with them to let them know how Scentsy has already blessed you and benefited you and your family in whatever way that means, even if it's quitting your job, not quitting your job, whatever that is, giving you fulfillment, you know, whatever that is. Like, if they don't see that it's working for you and you're not getting results, then they're never going to feel like they can either, okay? When I came into this, I remember as a new consultant, Kristen Ingalls was like, I'm going to add you to our team page. And I was like, okay. And then she was, and I'm going to add you to my star directors page. And it was Radiant Rockstars. And I got added to both of them. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. There's so much going on. And I remember distinctively, Kristen Ingalls had a video where she was explaining what a basket party was. It was, at the time, we didn't even have Facebook Live. But it was just a video that she had uploaded where she was showing the contents of her basket party. Here's a business card. Here's some samples. Here's whatever. I, in that moment, was like, I want to do that someday. I want to make videos for people. I want to teach people how to do things in this business. I don't know what it was. It could have been the fact that I used to make YouTube videos before and I always liked to be in front of the camera. But no matter what, like, I wanted to do that. It inspired me. It made me be like, I'm going to do that someday. So no matter what that is, you have to be sharing things with your team. And it doesn't even have to be going live, but it could be a simple post that you're putting up on your page where you're kind of creating that unity and telling people, hey guys, this is how I'm working my business today. I always try at least if not every other day, at least every other day or something like that, where I'm telling my team how I work my business, whether I'm going live or whether I put up a post, I say, this is how I'm working today. Booking parties, following up with people, blah, 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 blah. You know, we're sharing my goals, because that is how that's how they pull inspiration. And that's how, when they see you working, of course, this goes back to leading from the front. When they see you working and they see you being successful, whatever success means to them in their eyes, as far as they view you, they see it's working, they're going to be like, oh, okay, that works for her. I want to do that too. You never know who you're going to inspire. And, you know, aside from Facebook, it all goes hand in hand, but like, especially with your team page too, I think it's very important, because they need to pull that inspiration in order to feel like they can someday do it too, you know, by building that belief in them. I'm sorry, I totally like cut you off and rambled, Colleen.
No, that's all right. That's fine. So I was thinking, like, think about Jen and Kristen, right? That if we didn't have them, we're pretty lucky that they are our upline, right? Because they're both pretty successful, right? And some of us, like, know Kristen in personal life, like as children, right? Andrea literally was her best friend growing up. And to see them be successful, right, has really shown us, like, we can do this. If we had SSEs that were just still like kind of struggling to get there and just like really just like scrambling and being just a hot mess, right? We would be like, okay, like I would feel like that I'm just like working, like chasing my tail, right? But I actually can see them, and I have a vision that was born and originated and inspired from them, to be very honest. Like, I look at Jennifer Anderson and I'm like, I want to make her money, okay? Because she was on this call and told us what she made, right? Like, we know that's possible. Jen is no different than you. She's no different than me, right? She can do this. See, Kristen just resigned as a nurse. The girl went to school, got a degree, and worked her business while going to school, while getting her degree, while working, retired herself and her husband, like, in 3 years. I can do that. You can do that. If you apply yourself, you can do that, right? If Jen and Kristen didn't do trainings and didn't do all these things, maybe we wouldn't be here right now, because you know what? They did. And it clearly sparked something inside of me, Ashley, and Patty, where we pulled inspiration from and was like, you know what? We should do this for our teams. Like, we need to do something for our leaders, because you know what? Like, they're almost there. And why don't we tell them what we know, what we were, you know, discovering along the way that we know work, right? Because we pulled inspiration from them. We felt inspired, right? Because it trickles from the top, you guys, right? If we didn't have the leaders that we have, who knows? Who knows? I mean, we're naturally, and this isn't to brag or boast, we are naturally go-getters, but some of the things that I say and do come directly from Kristen and Jen. And it is what it is. That's who I learned from, right? So I'm a product of them in some sort of way, right? So you have to be showing your teams what you're doing. And I have said this before, don't assume that anybody knows anything, because they don't. So many times, somebody that I would have thought that's pretty far along in this journey, and I would have said like, oh, you know what, blah, blah, blah it is. And they'd be like, no, what is it? And I'm so taken back, but it's because here I am assuming, you know, so share everything with your team, what you're doing, the things that you're doing, the things that work, because they're just starting off. They're looking at you. And if you're being successful, which you are, because you're all where you are for a reason, right? Share with them, because they're trying to work towards that too. right? So tell them what you're doing and how you're getting there. Maybe you're awesome at events. Show them how you're awesome at events. Show them what you're doing. Show them how you get your events, what you're doing. Whatever it is that makes your business successful, you've got to share that. And then if you find other things along the way that you're watching YouTube videos, hey, watch this. This video is awesome. Show them that, right? You can pull inspiration from anywhere. Like, you've just got to really be mindful of your team is watching you. They're watching you. Okay. So if you're not showing them anything, if you're not saying anything to them, then they're just kind of like off on their merry way, just doing what they do. Right. And they don't know, like, they're going to be saying, oh, this doesn't work. There's so many people on our teams that are saying, this isn't working. This isn't working. And they just have such like a bad attitude about it. But do they know? Like, do they really know? Are they watching? Are they listening? Are they pulling inspiration from somewhere? You know what I mean? Like, we really got to be showing them the way. So building belief in your team is big. And how do you build belief in your team? You've got to recognize them when they're rewarding the things that you want repeated, right? When they're doing something that is working, go on there, give them a shout out, send them a text message, be like, girl, you are doing it. Like, that is awesome. That is such a good job that you did that. I saw you going live. That is awesome. Like, you look at your PRV. Awesome. What are you doing? What did you do to get that? And I'll always say, if somebody's doing a kick butt job on my team, I'll be like, go live on our team page and share it with other people. Because people want to see other people being successful and how they're doing it. Because sometimes it's not what works for me may not work for anybody else. So share like that. And that team page, going back to the team page, is a place of unity. And no, it's not all about Facebook and social media, but where our generation is, where we are in direct sales and network marketing. Facebook is big. It is. Like, there's no way around it. I mean, it is what it is. So that place is there for them to kind of congregate and bounce ideas off of each other, right? So I always say, like, share with your peers. You've got to share.
Yeah. Plus it kind of pulls them out of their comfort zone too. Like, sometimes I'll randomly, like, I have a girl on my team she's a new consultant, and she's been going live and just like so charismatic, and her live videos are awesome. And seriously, every time she comes in my newsfeed, I love watching her videos. I actually knew her prior to Scentsy, and her and I met on Vine, which was another like video app, which is so funny. But so she's really good in front of the camera, and so she's easy to watch. And I actually messaged her recently, and I was like, listen, I love your live videos. Do you think that you would mind going on our team page and doing like a mini training on how to, do Facebook Live? Because I know that there's a lot of consultants who are maybe not so comfortable, and maybe you can give them some tips. And she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you asked me that. Like, it kind of like, even if they might be scared to do it, it also pulls them out of their comfort zone, with things like that.
Gives them confidence. Confidence is so big in this.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll do challenges where it's like a going live challenge, like making people go live on their team page or going live and sharing their story on Facebook or something. Because, of course you're going to have people who are not going to do it, but the ones who actually do it, they're like, oh, hey, this works. Or maybe just sharing their story in the team page so that they feel it's like a safe place for them to do so. Kind of like asking or, seeing, I hate to say the word delegating, but like asking people to do things, like the things that they're good at is only going to help them, build the belief in them up. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And we've got to build, guys. We've got to build it. Yes, your business comes first and foremost, but you have to take charge of your business. And by doing that, you've got to make sure that your team is good too, because the better your team does, the better you do and your vision and your goals, right? So you've got to make sure that everybody has their own vision and they're working toward it, and they know how to get there, and they have the tools and the resources, right? And again, once you give them the tools and resources, and we've talked about this many times, it's up to them or not. You cannot be chasing people down, but you know that you've done your part, right? But as your own business owner, you've got to take care of your business, and your team is part of your business. They're part of your organization, right? And it's big that you build up your leaders, because as you do that and they grow, they're going to know that when their leaders come up, they've got to do the same thing. And it's all instilled from what they're taught from what they see, right? It's not just all of a sudden. I mean, some people naturally have this like kind of leadership, mentality, but some people don't, and they want to be successful, but they don't know what to do, and they're going to learn it from you. So you've got to really put that foot forward and show them how you're doing it yourself, and then show them how to do it. So they're getting it from both ways. Like it's just really, really important.
And then there are also people who, like, even if they may not initially be self-starters, that could just come out of nowhere, where all of a sudden they just wake up one day and they decide they want to start working their business. Maybe they went to an event with Scentsy, or maybe they recruited somebody who's a straight up rock star, and then that lit a fire in them too. It's so like mixed match with like leadership in that way, with up and coming leaders and stuff like that. But I think as long as you are instilling the belief in them that they can do these things, or where they can take their business, I think is probably the most important. But it's all about determining what they want first of all. But most likely, if it's somebody who wants to grow their business and take their business somewhere, you're going to probably know that already, because you've probably already had conversations with them. Like if they want to grow their business, more than likely you're going to want to talk to them about where they can take their business. Because if they don't have that vision and they don't see, the potential in themselves in this company, or what you've been doing and what works, then it's just going to be like a hobby to them. They're never going to see it in that way that like a leader looks at it. Melissa and LaShonda says, should I take my folks off my director's page and have them on mine?
I think that's up.
I feel
that's not like a black and white answer. I feel like
it's kind of. I think like I have people from my frontline directors page who's on my page, and then she has people, because when you promote a frontline director too, this is another thing. Like once you're a director, and then all of a sudden you have a director in your downline who promotes to director, you don't ever get their notifications anymore when someone new joins the team or anything like that. So all those people are just staying on. I have a lot of people with my frontline director, Nicole Hubbard, where she has people who join her team and they don't even know about Real Consultants Wax Slinging page, which is fine. I mean, she's their leader. That's who they should be looking to. So I personally obviously this may be more of a question when you promote to director, but I think it's important that your team is on a page with you, but that doesn't mean that they need to be barred or banned or anything like that from the other page. If they still want to be on that other page, that's completely fine. Like that's the same thing that I had for, my leaders. Like if you want to have a page, go ahead and have a page. I think it's great, but I'm not going to be kicking anybody off the page, because you don't want to make anybody feel like that either, or like they're not allowed on that page, I think where it's going to happen is you literally creating your page, or if you have your page already and you just feel like it's slacking, it's time to revamp it. Okay. And I'm actually going to use, she's not on the call, Chelsea Campbell as a example. Chelsea Campbell, she should be on here, but she's not. She is my frontline director, Nicole Hubbard's frontline. Okay. She's a superstar consultant. She would be my second gen. Okay. She has had a team page for quite some time now, but it's been slacking. And she openly admitted this not too long ago. Not that admitted it like it's a bad thing, but she was talking about it, and she totally revamped her page, and she said, you know what, I'm gonna just redo my page. Like I'm just gonna start fresh. I'm gonna get everybody on board. And the girl has been literally consistently, she made the decision, and like the past week or two, she's been every day posting on her team page. She's going live for them. She's posting challenges. She's like organized a buddy drive for them. Like she's like on fire with it. So regardless, if you feel like the team is slacking or the team page is slacking, or you don't have one yet, do it now. Get it together now and say to yourself, you know what? Tomorrow's Monday, fresh start. We're going to do this, okay? And I say, as far as the team page goes, like if we're just talking Facebook, at least try to be consistent in your page by posting at least once a day. I know that we get caught up, and I want to give you guys a little secret too, okay? When you hit director, there's a whole door that opens on Facebook called What Did You Share? And the director page, okay? And basically what it is, it's other directors sharing stuff that they shared on their team page challenges, ideas, tips, and stuff like that, because sometimes we feel stuck and we feel like at a loss for words. Before we got on this training call tonight, I was talking to Colleen and I said, sometimes I just feel like I don't have anything to talk about anymore because I feel like I've said it all enough. So sometimes, especially when you're in a hurry or you're just feeling at a loss, like you don't know what to say, you don't need to have all the answers. You go on the What Did You Share page and you see what someone else posts. You're like, hey, that's a really good idea. Let me talk to them about it. Not that you're like copying stuff word for word, but I'm just
pulling inspiration.
Right, you're pulling inspiration from other ways. So that's one of the really great things about leadership, like, you know, once you become a director, because I mean, Scentsy leadership in general is just so fulfilling in so many ways. And that's just one of the things, because there's a whole like community of leaders, you know, with Scentsy, which is good because, you know, you do feel that at times where you're feeling at a loss for words and stuck. So anyway, point being, I don't even know where I was going with that. I completely like brain farted. Now I forgot my point, but I think it's important no matter what.
On your page.
What?
Being consistent on your group, team page.
Right, being consistent. Oh, that's what I was saying. Thank you so much. So at least once a day, right? So if you're feeling like you don't, you know, that like if you're stuck for time or something like that, or I just think it's important no matter what, at least once a day. Like I try and do it at least once a day in the morning. Even if I have to go on real quick and I'm on Colleen's page, or even Kristen Engel's, my upline. I'm not saying I take the things word for word. I mean, believe me, you guys, I think we all do that from time to time. But I think no matter what, it has to be like coming from us. We have to show our teams who we are authentically. So even if I'm at a point where I'm feeling stuck, I might go on someone else's page and be like, oh, hey, that's a really good idea. Let me just post some, or like a quick motivational thing. That's another thing too. It doesn't even have to be anything crazy. Something once a day on the team page. Go to Google and find an image that says, you know, some motivational quote or something like that. Like whatever. With an elbow.
You know what that means. I want to say, right,
do it.
real quick, that so Pat just promoted to director, right? And I talked to Pat and I said to her, Pat, what do you want to do? Like she has a team page. She's had a team page. She's active on her team page. Like they look at her as a leader, right? They look at her as their leader already. And I know this. So I said, you know, when I promoted to director, there was a little bit which had led to a lot of confusion between myself and Nicole Daly, who's my sponsor, between new people that were joining, right? And it just spiraled into so much confusion. People didn't know that I was their director, and just like contacting Kristen, it was just like a mess, right? So I said to Pat, like, what do you want to do? She's like, all right, well, why don't you go on my team page and talk about just some of the minor changes, you know, that are going to happen because I'm now director. So I went on her team page yesterday and I just did a quick video and I was like, hey, you guys, you know what? Like, you guys are your own team now, like, which is awesome. And you're still welcome on my team page. You know, I wouldn't at this point add anybody else to my page as you're growing your teams, because it causes a lot of confusion. Because then once they start growing, you want them to have their own team page. And then it's all these pages, right? Which is overwhelming. So I said, anybody that's already on my team page, which there's only 10 of them, you're more than welcome to be on my team page. But listen here, what Pat does, Pat's challenges, Pat's Zoom calls, Pat's team meetings, all of that stuff becomes before anything. Like, you need to be responding to this team page, to these Zoom calls, to these challenges before you do anything on my team page, before you do anything on anybody else's team page, right? Because this is now your team. So they're welcome to be on my page. They can communicate and share and do whatever they want. But they need to know that Pat is now their director, not me anymore. Like they need to really be doing their own team challenges, right? And going under that team's stuff, not mine. Like if they're doing all their stuff and they want to participate just to grow and get, you know, more experience or whatever they want from me, and they feel like, you know, they get something from me and my team, then fine, absolutely, right? They started with me, that's fine. But I also said, if you guys feel like it's overwhelming, you can also take yourself off of my team page. I would never be offended by that, because I want them to focus and look at Pat as their leader. And I want them to one day have their own team page. Like, I want Pat to spread her wings and be her own leader, right? I'm not her leader anymore. I'm not. She's her own leader now. Kristen is her SSD, and I'm more just like a friend and a mentor to her if she has questions. And she can pull inspiration from my page, but she's her own thing now, right? She's her own director. She doesn't even need me anymore. So like that's where we stand. I mean, as far as if you're not a director yet, I mean, I may keep them on that page, but you can talk to your director about that. And when that happens, you know, just see where you are in general with your team. And if you feel like your team isn't really looking at you the way, you know, as their leader, then, you know, I don't know.
It's a fine line. That's the thing. I think that if like, not that a title defines you, believe me, it doesn't.
Nope,
but
it doesn't.
I think that while your team is smaller, okay, because let's be real, most people hit director with what? On average, 40 something. Can you believe that she hit a director with what? Team of 10, 11, you said?
11, including her.
That's crazy. That's amazing. But anyway, so, you know, while your team is smaller, like we were talking about before, you may not get that same participation. And so it's gonna, like, unless you develop a thick skin to it, it's gonna get to you, because you're gonna be like, well, why the hell am I wasting my time? I mean, guys, sometimes I feel like I'm freaking wasting my time sometimes with my team still. And we have good participation on my team. I think as human beings, it's just what happens. So as long as you know that you're probably with a smaller team not gonna feel that same like participation that you would when your group is larger, that's fine. And I think that, you know, obviously they should still be on, you know, have them on your director's page, but that doesn't mean that you can't take the reins and start, you know, just like doing your own thing on your own page. Let me tell you something, not to go off on a tangent. When, I don't know, I think LaShonda might have been around for this, but Wickless Luster and Radiant Rockstars, do you remember when they combined it together? Okay, so they combined that together. When that happened, I had just promoted to director. And when I hit director, I was so like, I had a team page, but for some reason I was like, when I hit director, that's going to be the end all be all. Everyone's going to look to me and it's going to be awesome. Obviously I know that doesn't mean anything, but like when that happened, I hit director and I was like, yes, I'm going to have my team page. It's going to be so cool. And next thing I knew, Jen and Kristen were saying, oh, hey guys, you know, for the sake of making everybody feel overwhelmed, we're just going to combine the group together, which at the time for them, I know that they felt like that was the right thing to do. And then they realized that it's probably not the best thing to do. But anyway, trial and error, it's all fine. But I remember when they said that we're going to combine all of our pages together, and they gave us directors, me, Ashley, Stacy, the option to be a part of that. I said, I just hit director and I've been waiting for this moment to shine. And I was like, I am not combining my team page. I wanted I was like, I need that. I craved to have my spot where people saw me as their leader, because I knew that I was going to be the one that instills the inspiration in them and gives them what they need and shows them I mean, by all means, if they wanted to stay on Radiant Rockstars and Wickless Luster, I still have girls on my team who are on Radiant Rockstars and Wickless Luster, and that's fine. You know what? If whoever they could pull inspiration from, if it's working for them and it's inspiring them, I don't care who they pull inspiration from. I mean, I love if they pull inspiration from Kristen and Jen, because they're amazing, you know, but that doesn't mean that stops me from doing what I need to do and be an inspiration to my team, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think no matter what, as of today, start tomorrow, make your team page if you don't have it already, or if you do have it, revamp it and get your people together. You could even like message them either individually. I would personally send them each an individual text. Honestly, I would say, listen, girl, I'm thinking of, you know, I want to revamp our team page. I want to make it like a really awesome place where we can share ideas and tips and stuff like that. And I really want to make this the best for you guys and my team. And I'd love, you know, for you to get on board, you know, with my team on here. These are the things I'm going to be doing, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then stay committed to that. Don't tell your team you're going to do something and then not do it. I have to tell you guys, I do that way too often. And I think it's important to one, recognize that you do it and try and change it, because Colleen's laughing because we were just talking about this. Like,
it's so hard, you guys. You get so many ideas, but you can't.
Yeah, it's hard. And I'm just like a squirrel as it is, but like I have like prizes from like my team my challenges that I've like yet to send out and stuff like that. And they notice that. And then the next team challenge that I do, guess who's not participating in it because they didn't get the prizes, you know? So it is.
Which we're not going to talk about prizes because that's a whole different beast.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is a whole different thing. And I just mean in general, like if I just staying committed to what you're saying you're going to do, like if you're telling your team, you're revamping your page and you want to get them together, that you're going to be committed to this, okay?
Yeah.
And only be committed to it if you want to be committed to it. But I'm telling you guys, if you are, like, if you apply what Colleen was saying before and you really listen to the things that we're telling you, these are things that work, because it's what we have done, and we can't tell you anything that has never worked for us. We can only teach you what we know.
Yep.
So do you want to just quickly go over homework then?
No, let's go over, like, we're gonna just talk a few minutes of, like, I mean, we're trying to wrap up here, but yes, we have to talk about homework, but about our break. We have a big break right now.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys, we have a big break coming up. I mean, we don't meet up again until January 14th. Okay. So, okay, Andrea, go ahead.
What?
Sorry, I have to leave. I just got paged. Someone fell. Okay. Go ahead, Andrea.
Oh, I didn't see that there.
She froze. All right. Yeah, she's at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's like watching elderly people right now.
Oh.
Okay, so we have a big break right now, okay? We don't get back together until January 14th, right? So right now, we know it's crazy. We're getting ready for holidays. Right from here, literally right from here, we have like a half of a month to get down to business, right? To get paid at title, to get all your stuff done and in order. And we know that it's busy for every single one of us. Like, every single one of us have families. Every single one of us, have a million things to do, pulled in a million different directions. But this is your business. And you people here in particular are like the top leaders. So people, number one, you've got to run your own business. Number two, are you meeting and checking in with your own teams? Because this period right now, this in particular, this time is where it really takes a shift, okay? It's going to go left. And you've got to be on top of that right now, unless you want your business to go, like, I'm serious, okay? Get on this, get on board right now. Because I'm sorry. I'm like, it sounds dramatic, but it is. Because you're going to see a difference in your pay. You're going to see a difference in your whole team morale. Like, this is when it's going to start to slow down, because it's been crazy, right?
Yeah,
and
it's been crazy. And your team is on a November high right now, because more than likely November's been their best month ever. And especially for the hobbyists and for the people who are not like leaders building their own teams, they're really going to like stop and die down with that too, because December's a shorter month, and then right after December is January, and then people start getting discouraged. Next thing you know, spring catalog comes. Well, nobody wants to book any parties in the spring, and that's like, you feel like, let me tell you, I came into this business October 2015. From October to I think it was October, November, December, March. Yeah, once it hit like around April, no, I think it was June. Yeah, the J months. I hit June, and it was the first month that I didn't hit 2,000 PRV, and I felt like my business came to a halt, and my team stopped growing. Everybody stopped, like, just being high on like
pushing.
Exactly.
Pushing. Yeah.
And so anyway, point being is that you are going to see that dip more than likely with December and coming after that. So it's important that you are, maintaining like what your team is
leading from the front. Yes. It goes right back to leading from the front. Like, you've got to put on your face and be like, hey, you still got to work your business, you guys. And we're going to get into a lot of things that are going to really apply to the seasons coming up for us, okay, when we come back from this break. But remember, right now is when all of this starts, okay, you guys? So it's really important that you start applying what we're talking about, what we've been talking about, and that you really have planned what you're doing for the rest of December and you're letting your team know, because they need to be on top of this too. Like, let them know we're working with deadlines. You guys, everybody's busy. It's holiday season, but you've got to fit your business in somewhere. Or once people don't stop seeing results, they start to spiral. Like, it's just a natural reaction. They start to doubt, they get in their own head. So you've got to be on with your team right now. Okay. So make sure that while this break happens, that you don't just fall off from everything that we're doing right now. Okay. Because you guys are the leaders, and we want you to continue to build. Like, this all didn't just happen the past few months for you to just plummet back down, right? Stay on top of it, keep pushing, build. Like, while we are having this break, I want you guys to really like hyper focus on building. Build, because some of your team right now may fall off. It's most likely. I mean, some of my team is probably going to fall off. Patty's, Ashley's, like all of us, because we're getting into this season. Right. And we're not saying this to cause hysteria or chaos.
I know. And I think like hearing it too, it's like, oh my God, what the hell's going to happen? Especially if you ever been through like a season where it changes so much like this, but it all goes back to basics. You with your business, parties recruiting. That's all you need to. If you have a full calendar every month and you make it a point to have a full calendar every month, there's no reason why your business shouldn't be growing, and you're meeting people, and you're having the join conversations and stuff like that. But also teaching that to your team. It doesn't need to be this convoluted thing that is like, okay, what do we need to do? It's literally simple. Like, I talk to, at this point in time, like during, talking about December with my team, I make sure I'm talking to them very frequently about my calendar. And I will literally show them my calendar and be like, this is my calendar right now. I still have 2 dates open. I'm working to get parties right now. Like, here's some ideas on how to get parties booked, you guys. Or here's a video to watch on how to book parties. Like, again, people need the inspiration, but I think if you need to make sure that the message is clear, front loading their calendar,
front loading your calendar.
Join conversations, following up, like those 3 things, booking parties, sponsor conversations, and following up, especially through this time of year, needs to be like that's always, it's income producing activities right there. But like specifically, that needs to be like a focus with your team in these slower times, because that's how their business is going to grow in the slower times. It's only going to be as slow as you make it or they make it.
People will make this like, It is, like, I'm not going to lie, it is slower, but also don't use it as a crutch, because then your team will.
Right.
I promoted to director in March, and it was like crickets, but it happened because my team was still working. I was still working, and it happened. So you can use it as an excuse, or you can still work your business, but you've got to be doing those income producing activities. Okay. Like, you're going to have to fight a little bit against the tide right now. September, October, November, it comes a little bit more fluently and more easily than it would normally during those slower months, but it can still happen. But just make sure that you're really putting in your effort. I mean, this is a job. This is legit a job. You get paid for what you do. But you are really like touching base with your team and seeing where they are and feeding them confidence and really like building belief and confidence in them that they can do this. You can do this, like, it's going to get hard, but you got to keep going, keep pushing. Right. So we have this big break, you guys, but we want you guys to like still be involved, and we're still going to be posting some stuff on our accelerated leadership page, because you're still a leader through these breaks. Like, this doesn't mean anything. We're just not going to be having these meetings. But we want you guys to still kick butt through this whole entire time. So just be conscious of, where you are, where your team is, and what's going down, and that we have like a half a month to work with in December. So
yeah,
just
all right. Touch on the homework now. Yeah. So homework this week, homework challenge. You guys know I love saying that 6 weeks later. So we want you guys now, clearly we're either going to revamp our team page or we're going to start our team page. Okay. Get out of your comfort zones, guys. Okay. Leaders don't stay in their comfort zones, and you're not going to ever get your team to find your vision, share your vision, ever want to do what you do if you are not getting out of your comfort zone. And I know that a lot of us don't want to do this. I think most of us do it here, but go live. go live for your team. Your team is your safe place, okay? Your team page specifically. That's your safe zone. Your team should be looking to you and feeling like they can do it too. And if you're not going live for your team, who cares what you look like? Look at my hair right now. You think I care about this? I mean, really, look at this. I have a bald spot. You see that? Think I care about that?
Really, you're talking about it.
No, but really, like, just do it. I promise you, the more you do it, the easier it's going to become. Okay, so go live on your team page. Okay, after you revamp it and get your team together and tell me you're going to be doing all these videos and doing all this stuff for them, go live on your team page this week and share your short and long-term goals with your team. Okay, so your short-term goals meaning like maybe this month, you know, what are your December goals? What's your PRV you want to hit? How many parties do you want to book? How many sponsoring conversations? Put it out there in front of them, okay? I would go live and I would even put up a post what your December goals are, and then also challenge them to give you their December goals. Hey guys, what are your goals this month? Mine is 2K, 1 to 2 home parties, 4 Facebook parties, whatever it is. List it out for them, okay? And get their
thinking about it. Get them thinking
about it and show that you're doing it too, okay? And go live with your long-term goals. Like, what do you want out of this business? Why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why are you with Scentsy, okay? It doesn't even have to be anything crazy and dramatic. I just want to make enough money where my husband doesn't have to work so hard. That's not even why I initially joined, but now that's what it is. I don't want him working so much overtime. He's never going to quit his job just because I know it's like in his blood to be a worker forever. Mm-hmm. But like, I just don't want him working so much overtime. So like I said, I'll share that. So share your long-term goals. What do you want out of this? And where someday it can happen. Because I think, in all honesty, none of us would be here if we didn't think there was ever potential in the future, you know? I mean, a lot of people do it for fun, and that's fine, but if you're looking to build a business, you know that someday you're going to be able to do this. So share that with your team and talk to them about why you're doing this and what you're looking to get out of Scentsy, okay? And I'll tell you guys, every conversation I have with new consultants or coaching calls, I ask my whether they're potential recruits or a new consultant or even my leaders, I say to them, what is it about Scentsy that sparks your interest? How can you see Scentsy enhancing your life? And what do you want to get out of this business? You know, those are just some simple random questions that I might ask. So make sure that you are sharing that with your team, okay? Go live and share your short and your long-term goals. And, you know, how you're going to get there together and why it's so important and all that, all right? And then screenshot your post in the homework post that we put up, okay? Also, side note, you guys, I know that with the Thanksgiving break, we didn't, have a call and stuff like that, and so I didn't put up the check. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I apologize for that. I know that for the week before, we should have had a blank check where you're supposed to write out on the call with Jennifer Anderson, write your dream check out to you. So I'm going to get that uploaded for you guys, but I just want to let you know I didn't forget about that, okay? So does anybody have any questions at all before we get off of this? Like I said, speak now, forever hold your peace. We want this to be interactive. Anybody? No, we've been talking forever.
You know. I have a question.
Yes, Sandy.
I'm not really sure how to go about doing my team page. And I mean, I don't know if it's something that you can just tell me right here, or if you'd rather I ask Ashley or whatever. I mean,
oh yeah, well,
but I'm not sure how
how to make, physically make it?
Well, yeah, that, and does everybody that have a team page, do they have a team name, or, how?
No, I think that, well, what's going to happen is when you promote to director, and I say when, because that's going to happen for each of you, you'll be able to pick an official team name with Scentsy, where you'll email, I think it's account services at Scentsy or something like that. You'll email them your name, and then you have to wait for confirmation that it's official and you can use it. And you can actually look on the business references tab, and it's the director team name list to see if it's already taken. But I have the girl Chelsea I was talking about, she has her title on her team page is Team TBA, to be announced, team name to be announced. I had straight from the beginning Real Consultants of Wax Slinging, that just when I promoted to director, I was like, yeah, I still like this, I'm going to keep it. That's really up to you. You don't have to you could put Sandy's, wax slingers, or whatever you want to, whatever you want to put on there for now.
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't matter there. but like creating it, yeah, I think it's important no matter what, but I don't think you need the name on there.
And so, like, do you just go and on Facebook to create a group and then
Yes.
put your people in it? And
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. You
Reach out to them. Let them know that you're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Don't just ever add people in. Like I said, I would send a text message to them individually.
And tell them why you're doing this, why you're ready for this, and you feel like this is going to be good for them and your group as a whole. Like you guys are ready to do it.
Yeah, and I think like I said, like texting them individually and letting them know, because you don't ever just want to like dump people in. And even if you're just revamping your page, like if you have a page already, I think you should still do that.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, create a group. And I would do a closed group just because you don't want anybody to be able to, have access to that.
Right.
But yeah, if you go to groups, you'll see the option create group. You can put a picture there, all that stuff.
Okay.
All right. We wish you guys luck. We can't wait to see. We're so excited. All right, guys. We are going to see you after the holiday break. We hope that you guys have an amazing holiday season with your families. Definitely, no matter what, take that time to spend with your family and, enjoy the holiday season and stuff like that, because as hard as you work, you also deserve that break and that rest too.
Really important. Family time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I hope you have a Merry Christmas too, you guys.
Oh, you too. Yes,
too.
Definitely. All right. We will talk to you guys
Thank you
soon.
so much for all the information.
You're very welcome.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Sometimes I feel like I'm such a retard about things.
Oh, stop it.
Well, I'm a little bit technically challenged. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Listen, Sandy, you're not going to know until you know. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my gosh, never.
Yeah, you're not going to know until you know, and now you know. No. So, right, once you do
Speak
it.
up. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll stay communicated over the next couple weeks anyway in the Accelerated Leadership group. Like, we're still going to be posting in there. And please, guys, like, if you have questions or anything, or you're feeling like, share your struggles, your encouragement, your celebrations, whatever. But yeah, we'll stay in touch over that, and then we'll all link up after the holidays. All right, guys. We will talk to you later.
Good night.
Bye.